Hi there, I'm going to look at a 10-mark Describe question today in relation to the Crime and Deviance module, and the question we are going to look at today is describe what is meant by the term criminal subculture. Okay, so throughout this video I'm going to show you firstly how to structure your answer, and secondly the content that I would include within your structure to enable you to get full marks, or as near as damn it full marks. Okay, so firstly let's have a look at the structure. Again, like on many other my videos, I look at, for a 10-mark question, working between 3 to 4 paragraphs. 3 to 4 paragraphs is a good way to go about structuring your answer. Again, it's a describe question, so you have to describe things rather than give reasons and explanations. And basically, describe question in this situation, looking at criminal subcultures, it's wanting you to describe what is a subculture, what is a culture, and then I would particularly, what I'm going to talk to you about today is I'm going to talk to you about particular sociologist Robert Merton, who talks about the strain theory, and Albert Cohen, who talks about the status frustration theory. And I would certainly describe their views towards criminal subcultures. Again, I would use point, evidence, effect, or REE, which just allows you to give your point, obviously expand on it, and then explain it, which I know is a contrast from what I've just said regarding the describe question, but it does allow you to structure your sentences writing in that format. And finally, I would look to be spending between 10 and 15 minutes on the question, looking at writing no more than 200 words. So that is the structure of how I would go about it. Now I'm going to talk to you about the content that I would include in there. So describe what is meant by the term criminal subcultures. Now the first paragraph I would be talking about is, first I would be saying what is a subculture, and before we say what is a subculture, we need to talk about what is a culture. And as we know, sociology, a culture is a shared, learned way of life. So British culture, as we know, is how we behave, how we go about our day-to-day duties, what is expected of us, and basically a shared way of life. Whereas a subculture is a breakaway from a particular culture, and an easy way to kind of visualise this is music. Music is a huge culture, but within music you've got many different subcultures that break off. For example, mods, rockers, ravers, indie people, people like classical music, and all those people behave in a different way, they dress in a different way, and often their language is different. So subcultures have different norms and values to the rest of society. They may look and speak differently. Then obviously in particular criminal subcultures, young teenagers, anybody who's seen a Clockwork Orange, the language they use within the film and the book, obviously they talk in a lot of slang, so they may talk in slang, they may dress in relation to their subcultures. An example you could maybe put in there is the youth of today, and it's obviously a little bit of a deviancy amplification or moral panic, that or stereotypical view that young adolescents wear hoodies and tuck their socks into their trainers, also known as chav. So you can talk about that within your own, but again you are describing what is a culture, what is a subculture, providing an example. Your second paragraph, I would look at status frustration. Basically what this means, it's in relation to Albert Cohen, and he had the idea that in America there's a strong value on success. People want to be success, and people want to have high status, and therefore because they are always able to do that, then they become frustrated that their status isn't high enough within society. Working class people may fail to be successful and therefore they become frustrated, says Albert Cohen. So they invent their own subcultures with opposite norms and values, gaining success and respect within their subculture. So, for example, a crime or a drug gang may have respect or even in their own mind success through money, through their criminal activity. So, like I said, Albert Cohen talks about status frustration, and people want to have a status that they are successful and earn money, and therefore often, because they can't do it in a legal way, they often do it illegally. The next thing we're going to talk about, my third paragraph, I would talk about Robert Merton and his strain theory. And similar in a way to Albert Cohen's status frustration, Robert Merton thought that crime got out of control when there were no balance between the goals people wanted and the chances of achieving them. For example, he believed that people are socialised to want to be rich, have a big house and a flash car, and therefore, because some people are not able to do that, again, like the status frustration, in a legal way, they often feel the strain and revert to crime as a way of being successful, either through money or from gaining respect of their peers. Robert Merton basically explained, he said that there were 5 possible responses to people in relation to strain, and one of those was to revert to crime. If you feel the strain, you revert to crime. You can revert to drugs as a way of getting away from the strain. Some people may give up and then take it out on other people in society. Some people may rebel, making other people's life in society quite difficult. Or they may continue to try and be successful, even though they know the likelihood of being successful is unlikely. So, in summary, the overwhelming desire to be successful puts a strain on individuals, which therefore makes them turn to crime. And often, because of that, they form their own subcultures and commit crime as a way of gaining success, respect, and sometimes enjoyment. And my final paragraph, what I'm going to talk about is criminal subcultures. And basically, look, there are many different subcultures in relation to criminal activity, and I'm sure you can think of some of your own. Now, Cloward took Merton's idea a stage further and explained why criminal subcultures take different forms. People turn to criminal subcultures, but it depends on the area you live in. Some areas have different opportunities for criminals, and basically what Cloward said was that people revert to crime, but it depends where they are in terms of the country and who is available for them. If you look at school, for example, there are some students who do form criminal subcultures or anti-school subcultures where they may smoke, and basically smokers hang around with smokers. Likewise, away from crime, people who are interested in sport hang around with people who enjoy sport. But basically, Cloward talked about 3 kinds of subcultures found in different areas. The first one being a criminal subculture, highly organised criminal gangs. The second one was a conflict subculture, where there were no organised crime, so they joined gangs to fight each other. And the third one was retreatist subcultures. They do neither of these, so give up and turn to drugs or alcohol. So basically, they retreat to a subculture of drink and alcohol, in a way drinking away or smoking away or whatever they do, taking away their pains. But just linking back to Cloward, whereas he took we took Merton's strain theory a stage further, what he's saying there is that basically people turn to a subculture when they haven't got anything else to go to. So the criminal subcultures, they form highly organised gangs to exist and make money. Or there's a conflict subculture where they aren't involved in a gang, they don't necessarily want to go to alcohol, but they are conflicting, so they join a gang and maybe fight each other. In all these examples, crime is a response to the social situation. They emphasise social rather than individual causes of crime, and they are basically saying that it is because of the society they are living that they turn to criminal activity. So in relation to all the 4 points I've just spoke about there, I would make sure at the end of my sentence of each one, but I describe what is meant by the term criminal subculture and basically linking each of the 4 factors to the question. Thank you.